Hello and welcome to Swinging from the Hip, episode 33. Wow. Yes, we keep on going. I'll be honest, I've got no idea where our win is. So you're stuck with me yet again for hosting the show. You know what? I've said this time and time before. Cricket's not my thing. I'm not a massive expert on this one, but I've kept a little bit of a track of it. And I've got someone joining me who does watch way more cricket than is perhaps that is really sort of healthy for you, to be honest. But yeah, look, I've even put my Black Caps jersey on, going all beige brigade for you folks tonight. What have we got on tonight? Well, obviously we've got a couple of T20 games that have been played between the Black Caps and Pakistan, so we'll have a chat about those. Also, there was a unofficial test, or well, basically New Zealand A took on Pakistan A. But that's not the correct name for the Pakistan team. It's the Pakistan Shaheens. And then also there was, well, I'm not sure you really call it a test match. It's more of a 3-day game between Australia and India happening over the ditch there. And who's going to join me to talk about all that? Well, it's Arun again. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks, Paul. How are you?
Not bad at all. I can see you trying to. How does my computer work? You can see you playing with your computer there.
Yeah. Quick, panic.
Good to see you in your Black Caps jersey there, and Kumu hat. Yeah. So how's Kumu going in the Auckland T20 competition?
Yeah. Well, I was going to actually bring up a little bit of club cricket through our chat today, I thought, as well. So if we want to start off with that, obviously up here in Auckland, we've started, moved on from the 2-day stuff and into the 1 day and the T20 competitions. And my whole weekend, Paul, I'm delighted to say, Saturday and Sunday was spent out watching cricket. Saturday was obviously watching my son's team. He playing for the Kumu Seconds down at Vic Park in Grafton, so we'll just get in a bit of a little plug there for the boys. And that. Well,
come on, look, you've got to tell him, look, you're only going to watch the 8s. If he's not good enough, he's got to step up. That's all. That's his.
That's it. Yeah. Well, he had a couple of weeks off and that, and to be honest, he sort of more likes his 2-day cricket, the shorter versions. But the boys put in a mighty effort on Saturday, and I think the Grafton team we were playing won the toss and decided to bat, and we were fortunate enough, made a little bit of a hard work of it, had the pleasure of playing on grass, the number 1 wicket at Grafton there. So that was a bit of a bonus for the boys. Unfortunately, I think the pitch has been used for about 6 or 7 games, and it represented a dust bowl from India.
Well, on that note, folks, for those of you watching in, do let us know in the live chat. Obviously, you can watch us live on Facebook or YouTube or even Twitter, or you can listen to the podcast, folks, if you want to listen to the recording, if you can't stick around for the full show. But folks, let us know in the podcast, your club cricket, is it played on grass or is it played on artificial strips? Let us know. But yeah, so they got a rare run out on a dust bowl, as you say. We've had some lovely weather here in New Zealand. So, so good. So that meant the spinners had a shout for a change here in New Zealand.
Yeah, well, as one of the guys said, who's a spin bowler, he said, look, usually I don't even spin the ball, and I was just landing and it was spinning a yard by a foot. So, hey, that was a bit of a laugh. But we, as I say, we're fortunate. We bowled Grafton out for 130. As I say, made a little bit of a hard work of it at times. But, hey, that's the way cricket goes, you never know what's going to happen. And then we were chased it down for about 3 or 4 wickets down. So, and again, it was an ugly chase. It wasn't a clean chase, but hey, these small run chases can be a bit niggly at times.
But also, when you're doing when it's club cricket, if your opening 2 batsmen chase it down, your guy who bats 3 and 4 will get a bit annoyed. They don't get a go because they're not bowlers. So you've got to make
that's true. But yeah, it's look, it's interesting. I mean, there was only one other game down at Vic Park this weekend. That was a men's one-day grade, and I happened to know players in both teams, so that was quite good. I was walking between the two games and watching. I think, unfortunately, in that other game, it was a little bit one-sided, shall we say. I think one of the guys from it was a Takapuna, and it was a Grafton, obviously, team, and it was second grade and the one-day grades as well. So, but one of the one of the Takan boys scored 100, I think, and another one got 50. So, mind you, saying that Takapuna team is mostly made up of ex-Prem players who just want to have a bit of fun and play together as mates. So that's a very, very strong team there. But yeah, look, hey, so say it was a good day. Extremely hot.
I think it was very hot, wasn't it? And I was at the beach volleyball this weekend. So, folks, if you want to check out, I've got some beach volleyball interviews on the Facebook page. But yeah, they were complaining. They were not complaining. They were just saying how hot it was, and that makes it very taxing. I think, but from memory, Cornwall Park was where they had double or had a lot of action this weekend, didn't they? The T20s, and they had back-to-back T20s. So
yeah, it was around various grounds. Yeah, various grounds around Auckland. Because there was the Prem teams were playing double headers, and the reserves from the clubs were playing double headers as well. So I think our Prem team was down at Ken Maunda on Sunday, playing East Coast Bays and Takapuna. And, hey, the boys actually, the Prems did really, really well. They won both games. They're basically on their pool they're in the top position. So it was against East Coast Bays and Takapuna, who were pretty, up there in the men's Prem competition in Auckland. They pulled off a stunning weekend of cricket by winning those games, and it's just about to say they're actually on top of the pool at the moment. And in the pool they're in, they're top leading. They're the leading team with 3 wins from 4 games. So, hats off to I guess one of our guests or co-hosts that has been on the show, Taryn, who's the coach there. Kudos to him and hats off to him. Also playing a starring role in their bowling and picking up, I think it was 3 wickets in one game and 4 in the other, and denied a run out from a direct hit after quite a few apparent protestations is the word from the Takapuna team to the umpires.
Refer it. Do a referral to the TV. Anyway, club level. But look, folks, there's lots of club cricket going on around the country, which is great, and obviously because we are free of COVID. Now, also what it does mean though is that there are no there are various people who are still here in the country who might normally be whisked away to club cricket or to other places, but they're all here. So get down to your club cricket. The standard is very good.
Yeah.
And also again, I was obviously at Grafton versus Parnell. That was last week, wasn't it? Yes, it was last week.
Yeah, last week on Wednesday, weren't you? Yeah.
On Wednesday evening. So again, I've got some post-match interviews with a couple of people, Shrubin, etc. The coaches there from that game. So again, check those out on the Facebook page. But come on, let's get on to it then. Friday night, we had the first T20 between New Zealand and Pakistan. So, and coming into this, what were your expectations? Were you expecting this to be a tougher series than the West Indies one, or were you, or how did you rate this Pakistan side coming into it?
Yeah, look, I didn't know the Pakistan team. It was here. I've heard of a few of the names, obviously there. I'm not a sort of, I guess, well connected, and as our other co-host Taz, and Karen, who seem to know the players quite knowledge of the players and their abilities and that. But I was expecting a lot tougher competition from Pakistan. I think in the previous 8 T20 games we've played against them, we've lost. So, you know, we didn't have a good record against them. But the way things turned out on Friday night was quite amazing, you know. You'd say it was, you know, almost one-sided. I guess the Pakistan bowlers, when we batted, kept the team in there and the fielding and that just proves how canny their bowlers are and how good they are, you know, as a bowling unit. Maybe just obviously lacking in a little bit of experience and that in the batting side of it, which unfortunately showed out when we had our debutant for the night, Jacob Duffy, ripping through the top order with his pace, guile, swing. Obviously, the pitch was not too dissimilar to the one used against the West Indies, maybe a fraction slower, but the bounce was still there on the pitch. And it seemed that the Pakistani batsmen really sort of, you know, struggled with that bounce back of the length bowling that the Black Caps were doing. And, yeah, they just seemed to struggle with that bounce and how to cope with it, which was interesting there. I guess one of the comments that came through from our professional commentary team there from Spark Sport was, I can't remember the commentator, he said it was Steve Fleming or one of the boys, but he said, you know, Pakistan won the toss in unfamiliar conditions, so as to say, first game of the tour, maybe it would have been wiser to send the Black Caps into bat first and get 2 bites of the cherry, so as like they were mentioning, you know, if you like they went in and decided to bat first. They didn't put up a sort of a competitive total. You know, they were on the back foot from the beginning, whereas hey, if they'd bowled first, maybe their bowlers, you know, and the batsmen would have been able to see how the pitch was playing, so when they came out to bat, they would have knew how to combat that. But hey, I don't know, with the way Duffy was bowling and his partners, I think they looked unbeatable, just about, you know, unplayable on that pitch.
Yeah, it's as you say, the top order really didn't really fail me.
Yeah.
Rizwan for 17, Shafiq for a duck, Ali for 3, Hafiz, also for a duck. And it wasn't really until the captain came to the crease, Shoaib Khan, who put on 42, that really that anyone stuck around for more than a couple of things. And I know a lot of the praise goes towards Duffy, who took those 4 wickets, and Santner, who didn't take any wickets at all, but he was bowling. His economy rate for his 4 overs, he only gave up 18 runs in 4 overs, 4.50 economy rate. I mean, it's apply pressure at one end, take the wickets at the other. Duffy must have loved the fact that the batsmen knew that they weren't going to. There was no easy. They weren't scoring at one end, therefore they were trying at the other end. And as you say, Duffy took took full advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, Santner making his, you know, I guess his proper debut as the T20 captain. Came in, you know, and put in a captain's knock, can we say, when bowling, and you know, put the pressure on from one end by drawing the runs up, and then the pressure was at the other end. Some of the shot making from the Pakistanis, you know, left a little bit to be desired. You know, again, you know, you see your teammates getting out in the manner they did, and then you come out and you're trying to play an attacking shot from ball 1. Well, gee, yeah, not pretty, and not really smart thinking, as far as I can, I'd say, put it this way: if that was the guys that I'd, with on Saturday or Sunday, and they were doing that, they'd be getting a mouthful.
Yeah,
about it.
Look, it's T20, right? You expect to score quickly, but you do have to see out the full 20 overs, and they very nearly didn't. I mean, they were nearly bowled out. 153 for 9. It's some of those guys higher up did have the opportunity to, as you say, actually have an over, get their iron, settle down.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go for it straight from the off, because when you're leaving guys like a 3D and Rolf, you're 9 and you're 10 and 11, to see out the last over. Seriously, that's not kind of clever. You don't really want those guys to have to get in, put their pads on.
With Eden Park, with the shorter boundaries, the runs are going to come.
Yeah.
And you saw that even Duffy was how good he was in his first 3 overs. He sort of lost the plot a little bit in that last over. I think he went from roughly, I think it was near 20 runs. And again, as I think Stephen Fleming alluded to, and I must say he's coming into the commentary box. He's added quite a bit with his knowledge, and obviously he's been coaching the T20 and the IPL for a long time. And he's built up a good reputation there. And from the comments and that he's giving, you can see why. The question was, why were you going away from your plan that had worked so well? It was good. And basically, that was a second 11, you could call it, Black Caps team, really, on Friday night.
Yep, we had that, and then look on the batting didn't go to plan initially. Look, you got Gopsall going in the third over. In the fourth over, they lost Conway as well. So suddenly they were at 2 for 21. Not obviously that they knew they had time. They didn't have to rush things. But then Selford got a 57, and with Phillips and Chapman sticking around for most of the innings, those three kind of saw it most of the way. Then Neesham and Santner came in to finish it off with just over an over to spare. In the end.
Yeah.
It wasn't, as you say, whilst 150, 154 isn't a big total to chase. They didn't rush things, did they?
No, they didn't. And like I can say, you got to respect the Pakistan, pace attack, bowling attack. If they did, they bowl well there, and they, as I say, they've got some really good spinners as well. And another 20 runs onto that 153 could have been a slightly different story. I think there was a couple of drop catches as well there from the Pakistanis, ones that should have been taken. So the Black Caps chase wasn't perfect by all means, I don't think. Between Seifert, Phillips and Chapman, I would have expected those 3 guys to bring it home. And Seifert, the way he was batting, he should have batted through to the end of the innings. I was a little bit perplexed, and one of the comments made by the commentary team about Phillips, in that he's been asked by the coaches to go harder. Now, I think his strike rate was almost that. I think he got 23 off. It wasn't many balls. Maybe it was about 12 or 13 or something like that. That strike rate was nearly 200. He's going at 200. So I'm a little bit puzzled by the comments from the commentary team that he's been told by the coaches to up his strike rate. Well, geez, where do you go from there? It just doesn't done, that doesn't 1 and 1 doesn't make 2 there. So I question what that's all about. But as I say,
and then
sorry,
Paul,
yeah.
And 2 days later, back down in Hamilton, a fairly similar story. The Pakistan went into that first. Players like Ali, Shafiq, failing again, unfortunately. Hafiz stood up though and scored 99. And
Yes.
but the problem was no one would stay with him. They just kept falling around him. So I mean, let's say Ali for 8, Shafiq for 0, Khan the captain for 4, Ashraf also for 4. Only 3 other guys made it into double figures. That's just they had the makings of a good score there, but they just no one would stick around with him.
Yeah, look, unfortunately, I didn't get to see the batting, the Pakistan batting display. We the boys, the team, the QMU guys, and that we went decided we're going out for dinner. That was the last game before the guys have a couple of weeks off due to Christmas and that, and with being such a great sort of week for them. And we went to a restaurant to have a bit of a team. What's that? Bonding session, isn't it? It's a bonding session. Sorry, that's what I was looking for.
We should do a bonding session in the sports bar where you can have the cricket on in the background.
That was a bit strange. We were at an Indian restaurant and there was no cricket on. I couldn't understand that. But never. Well, sorry, it wasn't an Indian. It was Muslim. So. A Pakistani, Afghani type of
subcontinent.
So no alcohol either, so that was a bit harsh.
Wow, interesting. A bonding session without alcohol. Wow, that's just that's very
modern. Yeah, how's that? I've got been time to watch the run chase, so that was quite good.
Yeah, Tim Southey was picking the bowlers this time. 4 wickets. Only went at 5.25 and over as well. So not only was he taking wickets, but he was also very economical as well. So fantastic bowling from him. This time with the chase, though,
that was our number 1 bowling line up there, isn't it? Because you had Southey, Bolt, Jamison in there as well. I think.
Yep. We had
Kugeline was the other pacer, and then obviously we had the leg spin of Mr. Ish Sodhi and the backup of all-rounder of Mr. Neesham there. That, and obviously Captain Kane was back. So you're talking the pretty much, possibly the number 1 Black Caps team in T20 format there.
Yeah, and Neesham was needed because Jameson wasn't cheap, even though he did bowl his 4 overs. But Kugelin going at 11 and over, he only bowled 3 overs. Yeah, really got hit out the attack a little bit there. Having Neesham come in and just bowl 2 overs for just 10 runs and pick up a wicket, a real good piece there for him to do, to come in and be able to have that backup, have that 6th bowler you can rely on. As far as the batting work goes, though, again, the 4th over we lost Martin Guptill again.
It's interesting where it is at the moment, isn't it?
But you talk about talk about having to push it. I mean, he was only in for 11 balls and scored 21 runs. So nearly 200 strike rate. So maybe that's what his job was, just get that run rate up, because the target was 10 more than on Friday night. But then Selford and Williamson just basically battered through the innings, paced it nicely to finish with 4 balls to spare. So again, perhaps cutting it a little bit close, but but you could you could say very well paced.
Yeah, look, I was, luckily I was at home in time for the run chase, so was able to watch that. Seifert obviously learnt from Friday night and that, and again, he's put in a very good innings there on last night, and then obviously Captain Kane. What can we say? This is the pitch where he scored 250. Northern Districts, I think was that Mark Richardson saying the Northern Districts Black Caps were playing on their home ground. So they should know every inch of that ground and every inch of that pitch and the conditions and that, and obviously they do. Which was shown in Southie's the way Southie bowled, and then just Kane came out absolute. Class, isn't it? I think a couple of stages there he was below 100% strike rate, then he was at 100%, and then you looked up and then he's roared, whipping along. That strike rate had just gone through the roof. And what you're looking at, there was a couple of ugly shots coming to the end, like you say. They took it down to the last 3 balls, which was really interesting. And again, maybe it's hats off to the Pakistan bowlers, that they were able to, just shows the quality of them, and they never give up and they keep coming at you. Again, there's a couple of chances there that if they were taken, especially that last over from Kane. And, the last shot where it went for 6, well, that could have been almost a spectacular catch if he'd been caught out on that. 3 balls left and still, I think was 6 runs needed. So that could have been an interesting little dilemma, remembering back to the T20 series against India, where about three of those games, 2 of them went into super overs, didn't they? Which the Black Caps lost, and they were in all 3 of those games. They were in positions where they should have won them quite easily, but for some reason do we use that word, choke? Choked on those run chases. So little things, minor things to work on to tweak that run chase. But hey, who can say any? You can't say too much against them when you go out and win by 9 wickets. That's pretty comprehensive, isn't it? And a 2-0 lead in the series.
Yeah, look, I don't think. To me, it's not about wickets. It's about how many balls you got left, because it's 20 overs. So it's that's an archaic. That's just referring to kind of Test cricket, where you haven't got. Remember, Test cricket used to not have any time limits at all. You could play for as many days as you liked. So it was how many overs. How many? It was how many wickets you had left that you won by. In this case, for me, they won by 4 balls, which to me is a better reflection than 9 wickets as to how close the game was. Look, they did well to hit Riaz out the attack. Only 1 over, went for 19 runs, but then again, that 6th bowling option of Wasim and also Shabib Khan both managed to fill that gap. But if you can hit one of the bowlers out the attack, you've given yourself a chance to sort of open one end up, haven't you? But I say we saw Neesham do it for New Zealand, and then Wasim did it for Pakistan, managed to hold it up. So they created an opportunity, but they couldn't really see it through there between them.
I think what there's a question sort of asked is T20 a game where you have more all-rounders in the team than specialists, to give your captain all those options. It's an interesting, how you decide to construct your team in T20, So, but hey, so we go down to, I think, tomorrow night for the 3rd and final one day. I think it's
the final
Napier, isn't it?
So down in Napier for the final T20 tomorrow, and then on Boxing Day the first test kicks off on Mount Maunganui.
Yeah.
With the
Look forward to that.
3rd of January down in Christchurch.
It's nothing like after a hard Christmas day of eating and drinking, just on Boxing Day, sitting back in your lazy boy with your feet stretched out, watching a bit of Test cricket on TV, and just working your Christmas lunch and dinner and that off.
Working your hangover off.
Surrounded by leftovers to pick at.
Oh dear! As I'm driving on Christmas Day, I won't have a hangover, but never mind.
Oh dear.
Yes, I know. It's shocking, isn't it? Through me. I have to behave myself on Christmas Day. So the other game that was part of the series was also the 4-day game between Pakistan Shaheens and New Zealand A, where you've got to say that good fight back here by Pakistan, because in their first innings they really did struggle again. Azhar Ali got himself 58 runs in this one, but no one else would stick around. A few guys made a start. I mean, Butt got 27, Nazir 21. The other Butts got 13. Shah's got 18, but none of them went on to actually add a decent number of runs. Actually, even had a stumping in this one, which I think is a rare sight. But so they're all bowled out for 194. Ed Nuttall with 5 wickets led the way in that one. New Zealand in reply they made 226 to take a lead after that first innings. Ravindra putting on 70, and again, not many players sticking around with him. You had Cooper go for 0, Carter for 1, Bracewell also went for 0, Smith got 40, and Fletcher got 57. So look, when you got one guy's made 70, another 40, another 57, to all be out for 226, you'd expect a bigger score than that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Was that played down in Christchurch? That game?
No, up in Whangarei.
Oh, Whangarei. Okay, it's really interesting because I did have a quick sneak sort of look at the scorecards and that, and especially the team list for New Zealand, our New Zealand Day, and it seemed to me it was like they'd only chosen players from, it looked like, Wellington South. With you got Rachindra there, a Wellington guy, and I think there was one other, but the rest of the team seemed they were out of Canterbury and Otago only, which is really interesting. I don't quite understand how that worked.
Northern districts have already lost so many players to the Black Caps that you couldn't really take anyone else from Northern Districts, so otherwise they couldn't play provincial cricket, and so hence who's left to pick from.
Well, there's the Central Districts guys. They're like obviously we had in the he came into the Test match. Obviously maybe being rested, but there was another couple of guys from Central who were ex Black Caps, who've been, well, not ex, but they have been playing, like Tom Bruce, who's played for the Black Caps, and he's still on the fringes and that, and there's a few other guys. Even if you look at Auckland, then obviously the guys involved with the Black Caps in the T20 with Phillips and Chapman and a few others, but there was still, again, there's guys there that you maybe could have had the possibility, but I would just say I don't know. It was an interesting.
I know the Aces were playing on Tuesday night, on Tuesday, so maybe there was an element also of which provinces had games, which ones didn't, so that everybody got some practice.
So it was, as I say, it was just a little thing I picked up, bit of train spotting, I guess. But hey, look, what I thought was quite good was to see young Ravi Rachindra again. Obviously picked, and he performed again. With the 70, and I think he did he pick up a couple of wickets in that first innings, or a wicket or something as well?
No, he only had one over in the first innings.
Oh,
Went for 2
okay.
runs.
All right.
In
Yeah.
the second innings, he had 12 overs, but no wickets for 48. And really, yeah. So I say, so New Zealand went into that second innings with a lead, but then Pakistan. Well, if you read the scorecard, it's very, very strange, because you go Masood 14, Ali 1, Ali 29, Butt 10. We'll skip the next two for a second. Butt 0, Shah 8, Khan 3, Abbas 2, Najim Shah 10, extras 13. Extras 13 ends up being the third highest of those scores. But then you add in Fawad Alam, who scored 139, and Rohil Nazir 100. And suddenly it becomes a decent total. So you've got those 2 centuries. The next highest score is 29, and you've had 5 guys get out for single figures. So it was a real strange.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
But 2 guys got in and scored all the runs. Let's be blunt. There. So it went from 4 for 64 to 5 for 290 for 279 to all out for 329. So you kind of.
What can you say? Yeah, cricket's a funny game, isn't it? That's all you can say.
Matt Henry led the way for the bowlers with 6 wickets, and the best economy rate as well, just over 2 and over. So really led the bowling attack there.
Sort of the forgotten man at the moment in the old Matt Henry. Obviously lost his position because of injury, and now he's basically he's got to fight to get his position back in the team, because obviously Kyle Jamieson has just performed so well. Could you leave it out of the quartet of the New Zealand fast bowlers? Who do you leave out? Now,
after you've just won a Test series 2-0, I think it's very difficult for anyone to be dropped. Really, let's be honest.
Yeah, and obviously, what's the Testers in Hamilton, isn't it? The Boxing Day Test, is it? Or is it Wellington? Or?
No, Mount Montague. I said
Mount Mont, so Blake Part. So I guess the question is, because I don't think we had a spinner in the 2 tests, obviously against the West Indies. Are you going to bring in a spinner? Is the question for the selection for that Boxing Day test.
That might be the only change to make.
Yeah. And I think Ajaz Patel is back and fit, though he hasn't had many overs under his belt in that. Whereas they played Satner obviously for the T20s, but again to me, he's got tight control. He's good thinking bowler, but he's not a genuine turner of the ball.
And you'd expect the Pakistan side to be able to face spin bowling quite comfortably, wouldn't you? So maybe you don't bother with the spin bowler against Pakistan.
Well, as I say, you don't. Obviously, it depends on the pitch, isn't it? And the conditions. And obviously, you're hoping that you are going to get a bit of a more competitive, Pakistan team in the Test series. And if you're going into the 4th day, 5th day, the spinner's going to come into contention. Again, we don't know what the pitch looks like. Is it going to be like a green as the outfield? And that. So, with the weather that sort of towering away, and that the sun's out, baking the ground, and that, and how much moisture contents in the pitch, and all this scientific stuff comes into it, doesn't it? Beyond us more mortals.
It's a home wicket, so you tell the groundsman, just leave the hose pipe running. Don't.
Well, yeah, they don't have water restrictions down there, do they?
Water restrictions, whatever. Keep it running. If you have to get a chain gang of people with buckets, just keep that wicket wet. Anyway, in that second innings, you say Rachin Ravindra top scored in the first innings with 70. Come the second innings, I think. Look, the story clearly had been for this game was that a couple of, if you got in, you could score a big score, but it wasn't going to be quick, and you were going to need patience. With a total of 298 to chase, that was going to be a tough old ask, and no one really got in to make those big scores. A lot of players made the starts, but then just didn't go on to score. So Henry Cooper, look, the sent in, was out for just one run. But then you had Rachin Ravindra made 17, Ken McClure 22, Joe Carter 30, Michael Bracewell 30, Nathan Smith 45. Look, you've got 5 guys there who have got themselves in, got a start. You've got to see that and turn it into a century. You can't just get yourselves out. And then you can't rely on your player on sort of 6, or sorry, it's on 6 downwards to do it if your top 5 aren't doing it. So Fletcher just got the wicketkeeper got 7, Rippon out for 7, Henry out for 6. Ed Nuttall put up a bit of resistance with the 24, but again was but Michael Ray scored, was out for single figures again. Look, 5 of your top 6 batsmen getting into double, getting a start, that's just not good enough.
Yeah, look, I mean, once you hit your 30s and that's, you basically, you should be considered yourself in that, and you should be going on and converting that. I think, I just going back on the comment I was making about the where the players were from. Henry Cooper actually, I think, is a Northern Districts guy, so I might have got it slightly wrong there, but as I say, I think still the majority of the team from there. But yeah, look, like you say, once you get into those 30s, especially in that level of cricket, that 4 days and that, you got to go through and convert it. And most of those guys in that team, they've played enough first-class cricket in New Zealand and that to know, and they should have been able to convert that. If they want to get noticed and go on to play, at a higher level, then you've got to put, you've got to convert that. It looks like, I think, sorry, what did you say Ravi got in that second innings, Paul? Was it 17 or 78?
Just 17. He got 17 in the first innings and 17 in the second innings. So at least, look, he did it in the first innings, and he was the guy who held the innings together.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, sorry. And I mean, he's only a young guy. He's only, I think he's just 20 or something. So, those other guys, as I said before, they're more experienced. They should be the ones, being held responsible to bring that, bring that game home. And, it's just not, as far as I'm concerned, it's not good enough for them not to go and convert those, 30s and that. To me, you basically maybe provincial level is where you are at, and you're not capable of taking that next step up. But hey, prove us wrong.
Yep, Nazim Shah and Amand Butt both picked up 3 wickets to lead the way with bowling. And so as bowling. Sorry, New Zealand A out for 208 there to win the game by 89 runs. So yeah, comfortable win there in the end for Pakistan. As I say, Pakistan Shaheens, as I say, really did turn it round after trailing in that first inning. So congratulations to them.
Right
now. Is it Test cricket or not Test cricket when it's over in 3 days?
Well, I was in a fortunate position. I was able to watch some of the day one of that. What we call it, the abbreviated Test match. Obviously, they were in fear of COVID coming through Adelaide and then being forced into lockdown, so they decided to better speed things up here. Yeah, is that the way to phrase it? These days, I think.
Maybe it was. Yeah. Maybe, hey, look, guys, we've got to get out. We've got to get out of the state before lockdown. To Scott, look, India started this off. Look, hey, 244, not a great total. But if you're going to bat first, but even so, look, a decent total. Again, you've got your players like Pujara, 43, Kohli got got 74, Rouhani 42. So that was where the majority of the runs. But again, losing 5 players for single figures, not great.
Nah.
But look, 3 out the most top batsmen got some runs.
Look, it was a bit. There looked like there was going to be a really big partnership between Rouhani and Kohli, until unfortunately Rouhani sold Kohli down the river in the run. It was a horrible run out, terrible mess. Obviously the steam was just pouring out of Kohli's ears as he walked off the ground there. But hey, let's say we've seen some shockers between our 2 top players and Ross Taylor and Kane Williamson. Not the most elegant of running between the wicket, those 2 guys. So sometimes it just a drop in concentration or whatever you call it, it happens. And it was just, that was the end of the Indian innings basically from that point on.
Yeah, but then Bumrah and Ashwin really clawed things back for India. Bumrah picking up the opening 2 batsmen, both LBW, both just for 8 runs. So that suddenly Australia found themselves at 2 for 29. Then, as I say, steps in Ashwin, and they just keep knocking over those wickets, so that Australia actually bowled out for 191. 4 out of the top 5 batsmen made single figures. And again, guys, you're there to bat. That's your job. So how about doing some?
It was an interesting innings. If I say Manas Labuschagne, who was the tops. I think he was the top. No, Tim Payne was 70 odd was the top, but Manas was 40 odd. Got 42 or something. But I think he was dropped about 4 or 5 times in that innings, so he could have been out at any stage. But it's really interesting listening to the commentary team in that. Obviously the pitch was doing a fair bit, and obviously we had the pink ball test, so it's a day-night test match, and everybody knows in that sort of that twilight period of the night when you go from day to night, the batting teams do tend to struggle, and that's where the bowling teams seem to make a lot of hay. But what you also saw here was when Nathan Lyon came on with his off spin, the batsmen were even struggling with that. Pujara especially just seemed to be in all sorts of tangles, which was interesting. And then obviously the spin in the wicket or whatever, was obviously a proven again with Ravi Ashwin in this bowling for the Indians, almost unplayable at times. So it was interesting, and it was good quality bowlers, but good quality batsmen, and they should be able to, you'd think, do better, but who knows?
Yeah, we're doing 2 batsmen making decent scores, and everyone else not even making 20. Jackson, by the way, for those on the live chat, we'll get on to your question. We'll just wrap up the this test match first, and then we'll have a look forward to the next game. The next New Zealand.
Won't take us long to sum up.
Won't take a long sum at all. Second innings, farcical. Obviously it doesn't help having someone retired hurt, but that's not an excuse for none of your batsmen at all making it in double figures. That is just you put got 244 in the first innings, all bowled out for 36. Well done, Hazelwood with five for, and Pat Cummings with 4. But look,
look. What can you say? We had finished on Saturday. This was obviously on Saturday, early evening in New Zealand, or late afternoon. We'd finished our game at Grafton. We were up in the club rooms enjoying a quiet one with the boys, and they had their little telephones out these days with the Spark Sport playing. And, we were sitting around the tables there watching this, and we're going, go Aussie, bowl them out for less than 26 so we can lose our record. And we were getting closer and closer, and then we were like, oh no. Look, I just unexplainable. From what you could see, the pitch wasn't up and down, it wasn't unplayable. Hazelwood and Cummings, they're big, they're big, tall, strong guys. They bowl at a fair clip, but it was just line and length and in the channel. Kohli, caught playing at a ball which was bowled at probably six stump, as we say, which is always the plan to Kohli. You bowl, at that 6 stump channel, and I was thinking about this morning driving to work. What a thing to think about while you're driving to work. But to me, it was like, well, wait a minute. Is it because these Indian players, and it was comments made in the comments as well, they love the feel of the ball on bat. They've just got to hit to get ball on bat for some reason. Is it because they play so much T20 and stuff? They feel they've got to be aggressive and be able to hit the ball. Whereas, those, as I said, bowling in a channel with 4th, 5th stump, you shoulder arms, let the ball go. Let the bowler come to you. That's what it's about. The patience and waiting for that to happen. And even Mr. The Wall, Pajara, even he failed this time. So, what you say, well done, Aussie. Great, Hazelwood and Cummins, great bowling spell.
Well, and also a safe pair of gloves, because Payne took 5 catches behind the stumps. Caught Payne, bowled Hazelwood appears 4 times on the scorecard. So that's how 4 of Hazelwood's 5 wickets came. Which, as you say, bowling down that corridor of uncertainty, getting the outside edge, or maybe making it move a small amount. But you say it wasn't crazy movement out there. Set a target of 90, and they obviously they saw it through. Did lose a couple of wickets, including a run out. You're chasing 90 and you have a run out. Seriously.
Look, as I say, it happened. Well, I think I saw it. Actually,
more than 2 days left to play. You're chasing 90. You don't need to be taking quick singles or risky runs.
I don't think it was a risky run. I think it was actually the keeper that did that run out. I can't remember the batsman, but I did see it, and he played a forward defensive shot. Wasn't sure where the ball went. Squirted out onto the offside. The Indian keeper, Shaw went out. Did a black back flick through his legs, hit the stumps, and the batsman was stumbling around outside his crease. Man,
stumbling around outside his crease. Anyway,
I think he lost balance basically after playing the shot and that. So it was a pretty amazing bit of cricket.
Strange one to me. Anyway, so and they got home. So the man of the match, who was man of the match, Tim Payne, was man of the match for his 73 not out in the first innings, and then taking 5 catches in the Indian second innings there. So congratulations to him. And it's a 4-match series, so plenty of cricket to come in that one. Or
Yeah,
not plenty if they're all over in 3 days.
well, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Obviously, they've lost one of their leading bowlers in Shami with a broken arm. Kohli's gone home now, so they've got a few issues with their opening batsman. Pretty sure ducks in both of the innings. Second ball wasn't in the first innings, and then I don't think he got too many in the second as well. So obviously,
well, everybody was
yeah,
a mess. You can really,
yeah. So there's a lot for the Indian selectors to think about. Personally, one of the things I was thinking just before we came on the show, and I was thinking to myself, it's great watching Australia and India, but I just don't know who I'm backing. I'm not really an Indian fan. And, the Aussies here, it's hard to back them, obviously, just for obvious reasons. But, yeah.
So they've got the Boxing Day test in Melbourne, but there's no New Year's Day test, which I thought there was a bit of a surprise there. 7th of January is the third test, and then 15th of January for the fourth test. So Melbourne, Sydney, and then Brisbane to finish off that tour.
Sydney could be a bit of a doubter too, isn't it, at the moment?
Who knows with COVID? Look, it's everything in the world, everything we say, apart from pretty much in New Zealand, is COVID dependent.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well, let's touch wood.
So yes. So Jackson, always blazed, says, will New Zealand have their best players playing the next T20? Arun, how would you go? Would you keep your best players, or what would you what would your plan be?
Well, it's an interesting one. Two trains of thought was obviously we're playing test matches, totally different type of cricket, and the guys have played a lot of cricket, especially the bowlers and that. Kane's been away for a bit, obviously, and that. So, and you've got momentum. Is it psychological thing? You go out and pick your best team for game 3, hopefully squash them again, and you go into that test match with a bit of psychological advantage because you're going to, obviously, some of the Pakistan players are going to transfer into that test arena. Obviously, we will if we keep the same team. So, yeah, I think I heard Gary Stead on the news today, and he was talking about momentum and carrying that momentum on. Obviously, the T20 World Cup is next year, and if this is going to be the team that played last night, if that's going to be our main number one sort of playing team in that tournament, then do you want to keep them on as a unit so they get to, I guess the combinations, like we say, and that, so you keep them together? Is there room for a little bit of a tweak of a player or two? Remembering, to me, we're missing one of our aces, and Ross Taylor, he's not there. I still think he's got a lot more to contribute to that, and to me, he'd be going over to India next year for the T20 World Cup. Martin Guptill obviously needs game time. We saw a very short burst of brilliance last night, but we need that from him to go a bit deeper and longer. So, look, yeah, I don't know. Or, do we go back and play our second 11 team again and say, here, guys, here's your chance to wrap up the series for us, please, and see if they can step up and do that. It's again a little test for them, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be. To me, look, there's the New Zealand cricket's on a real high at the moment with how they went in the West Indies series and then how they're going in this series. To me, is you keep that going. I'd look at some of the pace bowlers who will be involved in the test matches and look at how have a chat with the strength and conditioning guys and say, okay, what are they looking like? Do any of them need a bit of a rest? But otherwise, I would say no. You keep your foot on the throat. You put out your best team. My only exception, I say, is maybe rest one or two of the pace bowlers if they're looking tired, because I say they've still got a workload to go with those 2 test matches coming up.
Yeah, totally agree, Paul. Keep the batting order up to top 5 or 6 the same, and then see do the bowlers need a rest or not. How fit are they? Let's work around that. Absolutely agree with you there. Ooh.
Thank you. And corrections corner, because apparently the Boxing Day test is in Sydney. Apparently, so there you go. That's Crick Info have got their information wrong about that. Maybe it's been moved from Melbourne to Sydney already because of the COVID situation over there.
Haven't heard anything, but Melbourne is traditionally the Boxing Day test match, so
I say that's what it says. It still says that on Quick Info, but Simon's very rarely wrong, to be honest.
Hey, look,
So, Arun, thank you very much for joining me. Obviously, we'll be back back next Monday with the swinging from the hip, and we'll also be back tomorrow evening with the Driving Wall show. We're going to keep going all the way through the festive period, so don't worry, folks. You're not going to miss any of your shows. We're not taking any time off. It's work all the way through for us. And if you'd like to support this work, down below in the show notes is a link to our Patreon, how you can become a supporter of the New Zealand Sports Radio. Not only are you supporting us, bringing you all these free shows, but you also get access to exclusive content as well. So do check that out. Arun, thank you very much, and catch you next Monday.
Absolutely.